Hi there! My name is Oliver Astrologo, and today I've got an exciting topic to discuss with you. We are diving into the world of creating cinematic videos, but with a twist. We won't be using a traditional camera. Instead, we will be exploring the possibilities of using a 360 camera. Have you ever tried one before?
I think the most interesting feature is the places that this camera can fit. You can literally go inside things, get it, the different crazy angles anywhere, everywhere. It's actually pretty sick.
It's a total game changer. One of the coolest things about the 360 cameras is the ability to capture multiple angles in a single shot, giving you the freedom to switch things up during the post-production. The big question is, can a 360 camera really deliver a cinematic video? Let's find out. First of all, let's understand what is meant by a cinematic video. A cinematic video is defined by its meticulous visual composition, well-planned lighting, precise color grading, controlled camera movements, immersive sound design, and of course, a captivating storytelling. All of these elements come together to create a visually striking and emotionally captivating experience. So, we can easily assume that the camera itself is just one element in the overall combination of these factors. The Insta-1 RS seems like the perfect tool for the job. This camera is a little bulkier than the X3, but it's still tiny compared to traditional camera. It's quite different than the other models because it's capable to shoot in low light condition and also has got a bigger sensor. A bigger sensor means that even in challenging lighting conditions, the camera can deliver high quality results with enhanced details and clarity. The challenge of reproducing a traditional video from a 360 camera is that it often requires cropping the original footage, resulting in a loss of quality. That's why it's crucial to strive for the highest possible resolution. By capturing footage with an high resolution, like the 6K that is offered by the Insta360 One RS, we can ensure that the final video maintains its clarity and detail. I wanted to push the boundaries even further by letting ChatGPT write the screenplay for me. This added an exciting element to the experiment, as I had to bring to life and tell the story that would have been generated by artificial intelligence. Of course, I provided some important inputs, such as having two actors, setting the story in Rome, and incorporating action sequences to fully explore the advantages of using a 360 camera. After some minor adjustment, I had my screenplay ready to go. The story revolves around a parkour enthusiast who is exploring Rome as a tourist. During his adventure, he has a chance to encounter with a girl riding on a bike in Piazza di Spagna, and instantly is captivated by her. As she passes by, she accidentally drops her watch, prompting our protagonist to embark on a mission to catch up with her. This leads to a thrilling chase through the streets of Rome, which is where the 360 camera comes in handy.
And then you're gonna have to watch it to know what happens.
To bring my short film to life, I scheduled 3 days of shooting with François Mirachiara taking on the lead roles. Crafting a 2-3 minutes film requires a significant amount of footage, and since this was an independent project, we made it for simplicity in our approach. Certainly, filming a screenplay like this with a traditional camera would have been quite challenging, but using a 360 camera allowed us the freedom to film in public space and indoor location with this. The 360 camera is so small that it is often mistaken for a selfie stick, which offers many practical advantages. If you are looking for an easy way to shoot film without the hassle of bulking equipment, a 360 camera is definitely the way to go. Now let's dive into the making of the film. Once on set, there are some steps that I highly recommend to achieve the best possible quality. First and foremost, I opted to work exclusively in manual mode, using the Insta360 app to set the camera settings. It's very easy. You can switch to automatic, to check the current lighting condition and set the shutter and the ISO, and then you can lock everything by switching back to manual mode. So this is very important to ensure that you get consistent exposure through the entire shot. Also, by shooting at a low ISO value of 100, I minimized noise and achieved a cleaner footage. While some 360 cameras offer higher frame rates, I opted to shoot at 25 frames per second to preserve video quality and resolution. One element that adds a cinematic look to our footage is the motion blur achieved through the low shutter speed. However, when using action or 360 cameras, achieving a desirable motion blur can be challenging due to the interference of the digital stabilization, which can result in an undesirable yellow effect. That's why I always prefer filming with an higher shutter speed without any filters and then adding a motion blur during the post-production process. If you want to achieve a smoother and a softer look, I would suggest setting the sharpness to low. And for color correction flexibility, I used the log color mode. The log color mode is a special mode where the footage is less contrasted and allows more flexibility during the post-production. However, in low light condition, I found it preferable to switch to the standard color mode, that is helping to avoid any irritating bending issues. Lighting plays a crucial role in creating a visual appealing and dynamic vision. And this is so especially true when we are using 360 cameras. During my shot, unfortunately, the weather wasn't always ideal, but it's interesting to see how the 360 camera performs under different lighting conditions, especially when you get a cloudy sky. So guys, are you ready? Time to go, let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Now that the camera is properly set up, let's explore the directorial aspect and some tips to enhance your shots. Although this kind of camera captures a full 360-degree view, it's still crucial to approach your filming with multiple takes and angles in mind. As a director, think of it as if you were using a traditional camera, setting up your scenes and capturing different shots such as wide angles, close-up and medium shots. For each scene, we made sure to shot a minimum of 3 takes from distinct angles. This allows for creative freedom during the post-production phase, where we can explore a multitude of possibilities and even present completely different perspective or story. Shooting 360 enables us to capture simultaneous action in a single scene, which can be a time-saving technique or useful when precision, lighting or movements is required.
Using a 360 camera with a long pole can completely change your game and make something that is original and much more interesting for your audience.
With a 3-meter pole, I added the freedom to move around my subjects and capture a unique perspective without an intentional appearing in the frame. The extension pole, it offers 2 options. The first one is tracking the subject with the intricate camera movements. Or the second one could be acting as an invisible tripod, where the camera remains stationary, allowing us to rotate it in post-production. When using the pole for moving shots, it's best to focus on simple trajectories. Complex movements can lead to shaky footage and confuse the viewers. As our primary objective was to film solely with the 360 camera, we utilized the Insta360 for some aerial shots. Although the quality might not match the one of a professional drone, allowed us to simulate the immersive experience that you can get when you are flying with an FPV drone. When directing with the 360 camera, it's important to consider the lens-wide field of view compared to traditional camera lens. We have the option, during the post-production, to adjust the field of view. It's advisable to film as close to the subject as possible and ensure that all crucial elements of the scene are within close proximity. Although a 360 camera can capture a full 360-degree view, this stitching process might not be perfect. It's crucial to ensure that your subject remains in front of both lenses. To achieve this, you might need to rotate the camera accordingly. Fortunately, most modern 360 cameras are equipped with a gyroscope that captures the movement information. This data is then utilized to stabilize the footage and maintain a consistent viewing angle regarding how the camera is rotated. To create a compelling story, the actors' abilities is crucial. François and Maria Chiara. Although they were not professional, they performed remarkably well. My advice is always to focus on simple scenes, where the characters can feel natural. Remember, the key for a successful video is always to have fun. Now let's talk about the audio.
Che colpa?
Stai cercando qualcosa?
While the audio quality of a 360 camera is generally not professional grade, newer cameras like the Insta360 X3 have made improvements. However, for my shot, I wanted to ensure that the best audio quality, so I used an external recorder to capture the sound of the most important scenes.
So what do you think about the shooting today?
I think it was extremely fun to roam around Rome.
Well guys, the filming is now complete. It was both intense and incredibly fun. Now it's time to dive into the post-production. Insta360 provides an app that allows for stitching and angle selection, offering flexibility and speed. However, it lacks a traditional timeline feature, the one that is found in regular editing software. In a traditional editing program, you can see how the individual clips, especially when they are captured from different takes, works together. In order to process the 360 footage, I exported all the stitched raw clips in ProRes 422 format using the Insta360 app. And then I edited them in DaVinci Resolve, using a plugin that is called Carta VR. If you want to know more about this plugin, there is a link below in the caption. The plugin is also free to download. And the post-production, guys, is the moment where the true potential of 360 cameras comes into play. You get an infinite number of angles to choose from. I was able to create a seamless flow. When I mean flow, is when I connect the different scenes together, keeping a consistent camera movement. This level of organic transition is often challenging to achieve with traditional cameras. Additionally, when you're working with a 360 footage, it's very easy to remove unwanted elements from the scene. This is a topic that I'll cover in an upcoming video. After editing, it's time for sound design. I used the audio from the Insta360 camera, supplemented with the sounds I recorded separately. Finally, the color grading is crucial. It's the final piece of the puzzle for achieving a cinematic result. I applied a LUT that simulates the characteristic of traditional film. Adding a bit of grain can also help to make the footage more consistent. I also added some effects like halation and aperture diffraction to simulate the look of a film camera. As I mentioned earlier, it's not necessary for the footage to be super sharp. In fact, adding a soft touch can enhance the overall look. However, AI tools like Topaz AI can be used to upscale the footage and make it sharper if you need to recover it a bit. Since the 360 cameras are not capable to produce motion blur due to the high shutter speed, I use a plugin that is called RMB Pro that allows me to add the motion blur in post-production. One significant advantage of 360 technology is the flexibility to export the footage in the either vertical or horizontal format without compromising the quality or requiring cropping. By simply rotating the output, sharing your content across different platforms becomes a breeze. Alright guys, it's time to unveil the final result. While there are always areas for improvement, I truly enjoyed experimenting with this technology. I firmly believe that in the coming years, the quality will be continuing to advance. Before we part ways, I want to express my gratitude to everyone who assisted me on this project. You can find the channels listed in the video description. And of course, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel,
Subscribe!
and enable notification. But most importantly, I want to hear from you. Do you think there is a potential in this technology? If you have a shot at 360 short films, please feel free to share them with me.
Di che colpa?
Stai cercando qualcosa?